Welcome to episode 17 of the Hot Heel Girl podcast.
I'm so glad you know what episode we're on, because in my head, it's always going to be 5 billion and 2.
Is that what you said last? Did you say 5 billion and 1 last time? You said something.
Honestly, probably not. I just throw out random numbers.
I have a moment of panic, like every time I go to say that. I'm like, wait, what episode are we on? But I'm trying to keep track.
There was a point in the middle where the only reason we didn't get it right was because we squeezed extra ones in there before. You were getting it right every time, but then when Eco happened, we rushed those ones, obviously, because everyone wanted to hear about the recap. So I was like, oh, bummer.
Yeah, we kind of did a few out of order.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
So I'm sure you hear how nasally I am. If you don't know this, I came down with a bug last week. We went to a wedding and it was outdoors and like pretty cold at night. It was like still out, like it was in a barn, not heated barn, and it was all the windows were open. So I literally left there being like, someone's gonna get sick, because they all, the dance floor was literally outside and it was freezing. I did not have a jacket. I'm grateful that boys wear suits. So, came down with a little bug. I also was run down going into it, so that happens. That's like my number one tell. If I'm ever run down, I'm always going to catch something, and I'm, battling that. So we want to chat about how to stay your healthiest this winter, holidays, cold and flu season, whatever the heck you want to call it, or how to beat them if you get them.
Yes, how to prevent it or how to beat it. If you get sick, because guys, the flu's back, in case you didn't know.
It was eradicated.
It took a break for a while, but it's back.
Yeah, it was like, truly, there were no flu cases. I don't know what happened.
I know.
We eradicated the flu, but
so weird.
So I often pride myself on, like, even though I used to get sick like clockwork, like 2 to 3 times a year, because I would always be super run down. We've talked about this. I was a very go person, didn't rest, didn't chill, and surprise, I would get run down and get sick. But prided myself on being able to beat things in like 2 to 3 days. Like, that's a skill of mine. I have learned. Oh my God, there's a baby outside my window. I'm sorry. It's so cute. Hey, baby. Myself.
She lives in an apartment, guys, and people walk by, just so you know, there's not like a random baby outside her window.
We're on the first floor and we are facing the parking lot, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Sometimes there's some really cute puppies and babies.
When there's babies.
Exactly. It depends on the day. I'm sorry, I have squirrel brain still. I'm still coming back to life. So yeah, we have lots of tips and tricks for this. Like I said, I do pride myself on being able to kick things in a couple of days. Like, I'm pretty fine today. I have a lot of work to do because I did take the one day off because I was feeling pretty crummy. But, you take one day off, you reset, you let yourself really rest. And now I know I still sound bad to you guys, but this is the best I've sounded all week. It's mostly just congestion at this point. So where do we want to start? How to prevent? You were talking about this, parasite cleansing.
I was a little bit, yeah. I mean, talking to you kind of made me think about it, but I've thought about it before. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but yeah, ever since parasite cleansing, I really have not gotten sick that much. Even because I started parasite cleansing at the end of 2019, I think. Okay. So like right before the world got full of sickness. And I never really... First of all, I never took any of the tests, so I don't know if I got it or not. I'm pretty sure I got it at one point, just based off of symptoms, but I never tested. But I never got anything extreme. Like, it just felt like a really bad flu to me. Yeah. And even then, I only got that once. And I got sick one other time. And then I got like a light cold. So... 3 times since I've started parasite cleansing.
Yeah, after reducing my pathogen load, I did, as you guys know, the one time last year around Christmas. Again, it felt like a flu. It was fine. We had one day of like it was like 2 days of like feverish flu-like symptoms, the hot flashes, the aches, all that. And then mostly it was like this, like sinusy stuff, what I sound like now for like 2 or 3 days. And like that was all we got last year. It was pretty easy. So since reducing my toxin load, truly, I got that one last year and that one this past week. So that's like it. This didn't even knock me down that hard. Like I didn't get fevery. I didn't really get flu-y. I just got like sinus infection vibes, which is how I used to get sinus infections like literally every quarter, like 2 to 3 times a year, which I know is not every quarter, 2 to 4 times a year, whatever. Yeah, it was like clockwork because I would always get run down. And so that's what happened again. Like I said, we were doing a lot. We were doing too much. We were pushing really hard. We drove 4 hours. We were talking about this last time. Drove a long way to the wedding. And then with weddings, like tired. I don't usually sleep that well in hotels, honestly. I don't know why.
Either.
Maybe it's just like.
They always feel humid to me. And.
It's not even the temp. I feel like I mostly stay in moldy hotels. So I'm just like,
yeah. I don't know. And the beds are never comfortable.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't sleep great. And then I felt fine the next day, just kind of run down because I was exhausted. And then the next day I was like, oh, this is sinusy, which is fine. I'll deal with this. But truly, since, like you said, since reducing like my pathogen overload overall, and this has been like 2 to 3 years, like I've gotten sick twice. And this was nothing.
Yeah.
This used to happen all the time.
Yeah. Like for me, I would usually get something in the fall, like, or towards the holidays. And then I would get something else in the spring. And it was never that bad. It was usually just like a really bad cold, but I would pretty much like clockwork get something.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a very close relationship with my neti pot, have since college, because like I said, sinus infections were a thing for me. So, I mean, I know a lot of people have fancy like Navages and like other Sinu rinse things. Just always been a good old neti pot gal. You can get whatever you want. I do love, and I know I'm one of the few people with some hydroxygen left, do put a drop of hydroxygen in mine. We still have like a bottle and a half. We're holding on to it for dear life. So
I'm so jealous.
I know.
I want it back. I'll even take the original at this point. Like,
yeah, anything.
And I was using the Para 3 because the old formula had the hydroxygen in it.
Oh, did it?
And now the new formula doesn't. So
I don't have the old Para 3 because mine broke. It just rolled off of my counter and fell onto the ground. Which
I love Para 3.
I was happy it was Para 3 and not my hydroxygen.
That's true.
So.
Not something that's gone forever.
Yeah. Not forever.
It feels like forever at this point.
I mean, it does. You're
because
right.
we have no idea when it's coming back.
Nope. 0. Yeah. So I will do a drop of hydroxygen in a nebulizer too, or in like a Sinu rinse. I also colloidal silver, big controversy around it. I like colloidal silver. I use it in acute situations. I have no problems with it. I'm not drinking it every day.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on you? Yeah.
I was talking about it on my stories the other day, how I'm spraying it on my dogs because she just got spayed. And so I have the spray, and so I spray it on her wound, like her stitches, just because it is a natural antibacterial.
Yeah.
And I also like the spray, like if I'm traveling, I'll just spray a little bit in my mouth. Another thing I like when I'm traveling, the X-Clear, I don't know how you say that.
I know what you're talking about.
It's xylitol. It's like clear, but it starts with an X, but it's an xylitol spray. And so the nasal spray, you spray it in your mouth. And so I like that for traveling too, especially if you're like getting on a plane anytime during flu season. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just for keeping your nose clear. And the xylitol also helps kill all the pathogens.
I know, I love that. That's what I love about colloidal silver too, right? You can do either one of them. People will say, oh, it's a heavy metal, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't use it all the time. I don't think it's really making my metal load higher because personally, I find that it helps me kick stuff way faster. So whatever.
Yeah.
We all have our own personal opinion. Like I said, I don't drink it every day.
Yeah,
Why
maybe. I
drink
mean,
it too?
yeah, if you were drinking it every single day
Yeah, you'd have a problem.
for your whole life, probably you would have a little bit of a
Like, okay,
problem. But
it tastes metallic. We all know. Like when I put it in my mouth, I'm like, it's
but
fine.
yeah, as a preventative thing, I think it's great. So
Yeah. And I have like a handheld nebulizer that I got from Amazon for like 20-30 bucks. And I also like to do distilled water, a little bit of colloidal silver, and like a drop or two of hydroxygen. Again, sorry, no one has hydroxygen. I apologize. But it really helps to clear the lungs because obviously when you get postnasal drip like I am, like it eventually gets into the lungs. Like that just happens. So we've been nebulizing, neti potting, and a really old fashioned thing. So I guess this is most sinusy right now. We'll talk about other wellness stuff after. Old fashioned thing that I love is we were talking about it during our like skincare one. I love to steam because it really helps clear out your sinuses. Like I'll do a drop or two of Breathe by doTERRA, or I do have like a little herbal chamomile and like peppermint leaves. Like I'll just put it in steaming. Oh, you put a
yeah,
towel over your head and just soak it in, baby.
that feels so good.
It feels so good and it really helps clear your sinuses, right? So sometimes if I'm doing my neti pot or whatever, like, and it's like drop, drop when you're super, super clogged up and it's barely able to come out, like I'll do that first and it just
Yeah,
empties the heck out of your sinuses.
I love that.
I know. I also, I guess my other sinus thing, right? If you need to clear your sinuses, if you already got sick and we're too late for this for you, here's where you start now. um, I love gua shaing, jade rolling, and doing facial massage on my sinuses because literally right after you feel so much better. Like it actually relieves pressure if you do it right. Watch some sort of video on YouTube or whatever. I have a video. Twist of Lemons on Instagram did literally during 2020 when we were all at home. She and someone else did like a facial massage. If you scroll all the way back, you can find it. I saved it and I use it all the time.
I love that. I
Use
haven't
the
seen her
resources.
account in so long. I
Oh,
don't even
me
know if I
neither.
follow her anymore.
I don't think I do.
I don't know.
But during 2020, like she did it with someone who was an esthetician and like loved all the natural face stuff. And I have actually probably been half of the views. Like I've watched that thing over 100 times.
You should have it memorized by now.
I do, but sometimes like the one woman's voice kind of soothes me. Like listening to her talk it through, I 100% have it memorized. I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Okay, so more preventative measure or how to kick things when you have it, not just sinus related. What are your go-tos preventative besides parasite cleansing?
Um, the obvious, I feel like vitamin C and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Deep
But
breathing. Yeah.
I definitely think my go-tos since getting into cell core and like mushrooms and all that kind of stuff is definitely thyroid chem binder. That stuff, when I like actually got sick, that stuff kicked it in, I swear, like a day. I took like, was taking like 6 or more capsules of thyroid chem a day, and I was opening them up and drinking them because it binds to the toxins in your throat, and that's usually, especially with COVID, like you don't want it to get into your respiratory system because that's what was causing all the issues. So it actually like binds to the viruses in your mouth and in your throat by drinking it. Let me tell you, I pooped so much. And I felt so much better after that.
Yeah, better out than in.
Yeah. And so yeah, anytime I am around somebody that is sick or I feel like I'm getting anything, that is my go-to now, is just major amounts of the thyroid chem binder. And then also I was taking the Reishi spores and AHCC mushroom.
Yeah, I'm fresh out of AHCC. I was a little bummed about that, but I've been taking mega spores.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely feel like the AHCC and the Reishi also helped so much because I was also like 6 caps a day of those. And again, in like a day and a half, I was pretty much fine. And then when I'm pretty sure I got COVID, I was taking like all kinds of things. But I would say the thyroid chem and the mushrooms are definitely my preventative. And then I have like an immune blend that I take. I think it's by Metagenics, but it's quercetin, zinc, vitamin C, NAC, and I think vitamin D. But it's like that really good blend all together that just overall supports your wellness. So I'll high dose that, and then I'll do like a liposomal vitamin C.
Yeah, I do a vitamin C, a D, a zinc, mega spores, mega dosing them, king and not. Like I said, fresh out of AHCC. I've also been continuing to support my liver, obviously, right? It's eliminating all of these toxins. So continued liver support and binders. I'm toggling through mine depending on what I'm testing for. I do have to say a little testimony for my boyfriend is currently parasite cleansing and cleansing a bunch of stuff, and he's fine. He lives with me. I did make him sleep on the couch because like breathing on someone's face while they sleep is probably not going to keep them well, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened to him. He doesn't even have a slight nasally noise in his voice.
Yeah, I feel like I've mentioned this on one of our other episodes, but it ties in well to this. So I have a cousin, and she like gets sick like this. Like you just snap your fingers. If she's around someone that's sick, she will pick it up immediately. And I muscle tested her for some of the parasite products, and I put her on, she was just on para 1 and para 2, the minerals and the binder. And she had been on that for about 3 weeks, I think last year. And that was like just leading into flu season. Her dad and her brother got sick, and a couple other people that she was around, and she did not get sick at all. And she had only been on it for like 3 weeks to a month. And I was like, that is literally the only thing that I can think of, because like literally if she even looks at someone that's sick, she will get sick. And so that was my like blown away moment. And that's where I kind of started thinking about it, like with myself. I was like, I really haven't gotten sick either. And then I started paying attention to other people that have parasite cleansed versus not. So
and I haven't done anything that recently. I wanted to do it the last full moon, but my stuff came in too late. So I'm going to be doing it now. And he just started parasite cleansing even more, right? I've talked about how he's on his own health journey. And for him right now, like heavy dosing parasite cleansing, he's not on that many supplements. Truly. He's not on that many. He's super supporting his liver, BCATP, bunch of binders, para 4. I'm on almost the same things, except I'm not on para 4. So I was like, what? I mean, don't get me wrong. I was also stressed, and that's like the biggest trigger for me. Anytime I'm run down, I will pick up anything. And I'm like, well, big fat surprise. But fine. Like he is doing great. And I'm like staring at him. I'm like, I eat better. I drink more King coffee. Like, what is this?
That's always my complaint with Reed. I'm like, you eat like crap half the time. Like, how do you never get sick? But
he eats gluten-free Applegate nuggets a decent amount. And I'm like, those aren't great for you. Yeah, they're like obviously better alternative. But I'm like, what? I eat more vegetables than you. I eat more antioxidants.
I know. Whatever. People that eat like crap and never get sick, I'm like, why? Like, it's not fair.
Like I said, Dan doesn't actually eat that bad, but I eat way more vegetables.
Right.
I've also been, eating a lot of clementines because I have them anyways. And I'm like, aha, we love vitamin C food form. And then one thing that I know a lot of people don't talk about, but I have been dabbling in melatonin for myself before I even consider putting it in people's protocols. It's really good for dumping heavy metals from the brain. It's also good for the, and it's good for the lymphatic system for just dumping toxins out, right? Because as you sleep, dumps toxins out, puts in the lymphatic system, emptied out of your body. Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot of people talk about when you're sick taking melatonin, and I have, and it helped me kick way faster.
Yeah. I think that was something that I started looking into like after COVID, because I was seeing people use it in their protocols. And it's very good for
because it's an antioxidant. And it helps your body expel toxins. So I was like, I have some because I've been dabbling in it for protocols for myself anyways. So I was like, hey, we're going for it. And part of it, so like I said, it helps dump heavy metals from the brain. The protocol I'm dabbling in right now, like take melatonin spaced out. Afterwards, you take Virad Chem Binder because you want to take them relatively close to each other as they're getting dumped out. You're binding the toxins. And so I did that, and I woke up feeling probably 50% better. And I was like, because I forgot about it the first 2 days just because I 100% forgot. And then I was like, no, we're going for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a whole, it's not my protocol, but I don't even remember where I saw it. Some doctor or something. But yeah, they were using the melatonin, the vitamin D, the zinc, the quercetin, ECCG, EGCG, whatever it is, from green tea.
Okay.
And NAC, and
yeah, that's why I've been taking advanced TUDCA.
Yeah. And that's why I use that immune blend too, because it has a
Yeah.
very nice complex of all of those together. And then like the vitamin D and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that combined with the binders and everything, especially if you have COVID, is very, very helpful.
We were around a bunch of people that got the like this weekend, like everyone tested or whatever. I didn't. I just got a slight sinusy thing, and I'm like, I'm good. I took one day off of work. I probably could have powered through it, but I knew it wasn't going to be better for my business or my health, obviously, just because I needed to rest. And I feel fine.
Yeah.
I rest more now, whatever. Obviously, we're going to go through sleep, hydration. I've been drinking a lot of electrolyte packets and salty margs just because my throat was sore, so it was hard to drink. So you might as well get the biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah.
And I love a nice like throat coat tea by Traditional Medicinals. Like I love a soothing tea for my throat.
Me too. That's my favorite.
It's
I
so
just keep
good.
that on hand. Like,
Me too. I
just
have
in
like
case.
2 boxes. And I've been drinking it all this week because like I started off with me just having a slight sore throat, and I just thought it was because I was run down or whatever, and also screaming because that's what I do when there's live music. And then again, it turned into whatever this was, but drinking the throat coat just like I instantly feel better after.
I'm going to say another like preventative, since we're talking about tea, is you can literally do it with rosemary, ginger, and orange peels.
I've heard that.
Mix it all together. I think Organic Olivia actually sells a blend that is very similar to that, but I make my own all the time. You just throw some rosemary, some orange peels. I actually dehydrated a bunch of orange peels at one point just to have for that, and I'll chop up some ginger and just boil it all together. Mix some honey in there, and it's really good, and it's a very good immune preventative.
I love a good tea. I don't drink tea enough. I like try to drink it before bed, and then I forget, and half my tea's still there.
I've been doing a sleep, like trying out a sleep hack before bed, so I've been drinking a little more tea now.
I really just love the throat coat tea. I could drink that all day, every day, just because I like the flavor of it.
It does taste really good.
Isn't it fennel or is it licorice? It's licorice.
I think it's both.
Which is weird because they sound awful, right? Like fennel and licorice, you're like, ew. It gives it a nice, like, slight sweetness. Oh, it's so good.
I mean, personally, I love licorice. And
I know, but it
fennel,
sounds
so.
like gross. Like if you think about like, oh, you want fennel and licorice tea, like in theory.
I mean, it doesn't to me, but I can see where it would to other people. My mom had fennel plants growing up, so I would just eat like the fennel.
Oh my gosh.
Plain.
I didn't like fennel till I was like 22.
Yeah, I would just eat it because it tasted good to me.
And now I like it because of the bitters, so.
It always tasted sweet to me. It never tasted bitter. I don't know.
It like is pretty sweet, and I think when it's raw it's kind of bitter, and when it's cooked it's sweet, in my personal opinion.
If you eat the leaves, because it's very similar to dill, so I would just eat the leaf part.
I call
and
it
not
hair,
actually
but yes.
the stalk. Yeah, the hair part. That was always sweet to me. So
makes sense
I don't
because
know.
it's like a bulb. If you've never seen fennel, it's a weird looking thing. It's like a bulb, and then there's like little branch like things out of the top with like leafy hair.
Yeah, and that's what I would eat. I wouldn't really eat the bulb part. I would just pick the hair off and eat it.
I know, I call it fennel hair. That's why I'm like, I know that sounds gross, but like it's like leafy. It does look like dill, so like that makes complete sense. Fennel hair. Yum.
It was. It's good.
Okay, so what else do you do for immunity or to stay sunshine? Movement. What else?
Or to stay sunshine movement.
I didn't finish my sentence. You knew what I meant.
Yes, sunshine's a big one.
Come on, you think I finished all my sentences? Half the time I abandon them midway through. And I just am like, you know how it's going to end.
Do you circle back?
No, we don't circle back. We just know that you know where I was going with it, and we abandon, and then we move on to the next thought. Imagine how hard it must be to live with me sometimes. Like,
I can, because I live with somebody that is very similar to you.
It's funny.
Literally road tripping last weekend, he's telling me a story, and he sees something, and he starts off on a whole nother tangent. And then sees something else and like starts off on a whole nother tangent from there. And then he just gets silent for about a minute. Anyway, back to the original story. And I just start laughing and I'm like, he's like, what? And I'm like, this is your entire personality.
Never
like,
a dull moment.
Whenever you tell stories, it swirls off into like 4 different aspects. And then you just get really silent. And then you bring it back to the original topic and just start off like you never left.
I try to be better than that. I have to say, I'm only going to give myself a little bit of credit, slightly better, where like I'll usually keep on the story. And then at the very end, it'll go into a different story because I cannot drop that thought that just happened. But I'm like, no, we must finish. But yeah, a lot of the times if I think that you know where the sentence is going, I'm just going to abandon it and keep going to the next thought because I'm like, you knew those last 3 words. They made sense. And you did. You just decided to hate, but I'm okay with it.
It just sounded funny with the way you worded it. It sounded like it was a sentence you were putting together, but it wasn't.
I did that in a client call the other day. Like I was just like, and then, and they were like, and I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't finish that thought. I just felt like it was pretty self-explanatory. To be young. No, I don't know. It's just the way the brain works. You got to keep going. Got to keep moving and grooving through the thoughts.
Yeah.
So sunshine.
Sunshine is a very good health preventative. Vitamin D.
I know. It hasn't been very sunny here.
Yeah, that is one benefit about living where I live, is that we do get a lot of sunshine in the winter. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, we don't. And if we do, it's freaking 30 degrees out. So like, last winter when I was sick, I mean, that's when I was sick, I would literally go outside in like the biggest sweatpants and the biggest sweatshirt I had just to enjoy like 5 minutes of my face in the sun, because always a hood on. Like none of my body was exposed. It was just like, this is good for me.
Yeah, I've done that when it's cold. Because honestly, I am such a sunshine girl. I think probably just because of where I live. So when it does go away for 2 days and it comes back, I'm just like, just no matter how cold it is, I'll just go out and sit in the sun.
Yeah, I'm like a houseplant. I just need water, food, sunshine.
Yeah, I'll find somewhere where I can stick my feet in the sun and just warm my toes up.
Ooh, I can't say that I ever do that, but...
As long as it's not like really, really cold, if you can just find a little spot where your toes can get warm, it always feels so good to me.
You're so cute.
I know.
You're so cute. This is not related even a little bit because I feel like we're good with the immunity. Do we have more?
I really don't think so. I mean, the one thing I will say, like, if you do get COVID, do some lung support. Because again,
that's why I nebulize hydroxygen.
Yeah, nebulizing that, and then there's a homeopathic. It's actually like a cough syrup type thing, but it has homeopaths in it. I have seen that work really, really well for a lot of people when they start to get that cough. Like for me, I did get that was like my only lingering symptom was like that really bad cough that just stuck around and would not leave.
What's the name of it?
It's called V-Clear. It's just a cherry.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, it's like a cherry cough syrup, but it's actually very clean. It doesn't have like the sugars and all that stuff in it, but it's a homeopathic blend. I have it on my Wellevate dispensary. I think favorited.
Whatever.
Yeah. And then there's another one by Gaia Herbs. It's like a lung blend, and it's a liquid capsule. That one also works really well. When Reed got it, because he always gets sinusy very easily, so I was like really worried about it getting into his lungs. So I was like high dosing that for him, and that kicked his cough pretty quickly, which was pretty impressive to me because, like I said, he's a very phlegmy boy.
I get it. I was gonna say with Gaia, right? I like their elderberry syrup if you're someone who gets like coughing easily. I mean, elderberry syrup, they always are relatively high in sugar just because you have to add sugar to make it taste decent.
Yeah.
My mom has made elderberry syrup without stuff. It's gross. It doesn't taste good. You need honey or sugar.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you could find one with honey, those are my favorites. But
truly,
yeah.
So
but elderberry is honestly, it's just so good for you. So like, if the sugar, don't worry about it.
Oh no, it's not even worse. And I think some of them truly have too much sugar. Like they taste gross. It's like you could have just toned it back so much more. I like the Gaia one.
Yeah. And another thing I like for throat, like if you're just trying to prevent that cough,
propolis.
Would be propolis.
That was exactly where I was going to. Again, fresh out of propolis too. Wow, I'm so glad we're hearing this together because, finishing each other's sandwiches. Yeah, propolis is so good for the throat too. They also have a sinus like snorter. I mean, what brand do you like? I like a Beekeeper's Natural, but there's quite a few.
Yeah, I like that one too. Like
they have like the snorter. I'm calling it a snorter because not all of you can see me. The one that gets up in your sinuses.
Yeah, and again, I like those to take for traveling.
Yeah, the throat spray and that same.
So yeah,
they're so good. They have like a lot of good immunity products too. I don't even know all of them.
Yeah, they put them on Wellevate like last year during flu season, and I was so excited because I'm like, I can just buy everything all together, and I don't have to go to all these different places to.
I used to get them on Thrive, and so Thrive Market, if you are a fan, a lot of the times when you buy $50, they'll give like free gifts in like a lot of their boxes. And way back when, this was probably a good 3 years ago, when Beekeepers Naturals was like pretty new, or maybe it was new on Thrive, they gave a free propolis spray, and I had that for the longest time till it expired.
Yeah. I think I remember that because I think I had Thrive at that. I actually won a membership to Thrive for a year, so I was using it, and I think I had my membership when they did that.
Yeah, I still pay. It's worth it for me because we like a lot of the more specialty products just for, not being bored with our foods and sauces and everything.
I get that.
And we got a lot of cleaning products on there too.
Their toilet bowl cleaner, so random, but their toilet bowl cleaner is my favorite one. That is like because I don't have my membership anymore.
I know.
But every once in a while, I will just like pay the $10 for the month one and just like get a big order. And I always stock up on the toilet bowl cleaner because it's literally the only one that works. Like clean one that works.
I don't have a toilet bowl cleaner. I just use like concentrate from stuff.
Yeah, it works really well. It has citric acid and like cedar oil in it. Works really well.
Apparently I need Thrive Market's toilet bowl cleaner. You sold me.
You do. And it costs like $3. It did cost like $3.50. So it's not even that like expensive.
$5 even if it's more.
Yeah.
I just like it for we get like a lot of our cleaners on it. So it's just worth it for us.
Yeah.
And spices, sauces. Dan's a sauce guy, and Primal Kitchen's like his favorite stuff, right? Because it's better. We go through sauces like wildfire. So
I feel like that's a guy thing because every guy I know is obsessed with
100%
sauces.
100% it's a guy thing. It's probably because they eat pretty simple, so they have to make it taste better in other ways. He did not know how to spice till I met him. He actually still only mildly knows how to spice. We made potatoes this morning. They tasted like nothing. I like plain potatoes, so I didn't care. But,
Yeah.
It's a guy thing, 100%.
Add that to your gift guide list for guys. It's like sauces. A sauce set.
Funny, I did last year. I did a Yellowbird because they have the like, I'm pretty sure it's sriracha, like a little sampler pack. I think I need a different sampler pack.
They're a Texas company.
Are they?
Yeah. Austin. All the good food comes out of Austin.
Okay. Love that. I mean, Austin, progressive.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but They do have good food.
I mean, they do say keep Austin weird, so.
They are keeping on track with that. Weird and expensive.
Yeah. I mean, everyone moved there. I know so many people who moved there.
Yeah.
From, like, not anywhere near there. They're, like, surprised I'm moving to Austin. I was like...
I mean, there's a lot of companies that also, like, brought their headquarters there. So there was a lot of jobs and opportunities. But, yeah, it's just... It's too big for me now. There's too many people. There's way too much traffic. Like, the infrastructure was just not designed for that. So I love Austin, but I would never want to live there.
You like to visit.
Yeah, I like to go eat food, and I will say it is very, very good for if you're an outdoorsy person. Just like walking, like even in their city area, they have like a green belt that runs through the entire city. They have a natural springs like swimming pool. It's like a giant pool. It's called Barton Springs Pool, and it's always freezing. But it's like right in the center of the city. There's a big park and like waterways and creeks that run through there, so you can literally just walk probably from your apartment, depending on where you live, and just experience some sort of nature or get in the water, whatever. So I can see that appeal.
I love how progressive Austin is as a city. Just, mildly crunchy. I love any crunchy city.
I would say they're a little more than mildly crunchy.
I mean, Whole Foods was founded in Austin, so it's got to be pretty crunchy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's definitely good places to eat on every other corner, so
I'm down with any city that's crunchy. Any city that's progressive, crunchy, you'll see me there eating some good food.
San Antonio is still my favorite, but
I've never been. I've only been to Dallas and Austin. Once
okay.
each. Maybe I'll make it back to the other cities one time.
It's okay. Once we move to San Antonio, then you can come visit.
Exactly. I've never had a reason to go to San Antonio or Houston. Just like, no.
Houston's all right. Like,
everyone says there's no reason to go there, but it's on my bucket list to see all of the baseball stadiums in the U.S. So, like, I would have to go to Houston.
Astros game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in Texas is obsessed with the Astros right now because they're like killing it.
Yeah, they're in the World Series, so I get it.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, so because I've said that to people and they're like, there's nothing in Houston. And I'm like, well, I'll have to go, so I don't know what to tell you. I will be there. I'm sure there's nothing in Kansas City either, but I will go.
I have heard there is some good food in Houston. You just have to know where to look for it.
I always do my research before traveling for food. So I am the person you want to travel with if you want to eat good. So it's because I'm picky.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just going to stroll up to a restaurant that we passed on the street and like hope I can eat something. It's not me.
Yeah.
I said this is chill, Courtney. Not that chill. Sorry. We still plan out food on vacations.
I think that's a good thing though, because I used to be that way. And then I just kind of got like exhausted with doing that. And so I don't as much anymore, but then I always regret it because we don't always end up somewhere that's really good.
And it is like, it does sometimes make it more work for vacations. And I mean, sometimes vacations are already enough work, but I always have such good meals.
And that makes it worth it. And then also you don't have to be like on vacation and be like, where are we going to eat? Like, what are we going to do?
Worried about it. I have a list of like 17 places.
Yeah, it's already planned. So
it's literally a pick from like these 4. I'm like, that's it. We're picking from this. The list is already created.
Exactly. So it all works out.
I know. Now let's travel and go get good food. I'm hungry.
So tell us where people can find more from you, from Chill Courtney.
This is chill, Courtney, believe it or not. I am never going to be more chill in my life. No, maybe at one point. This is just chill me for now. We're not getting
when you're 80, just sitting on your porch, drinking your king coffee.
Yeah, maybe I will be more chill. You can find me at the Rooted in Health, THE Rooted in Health. Also, And that is my website. What about you?
At Emily Joy Wellness, Instagram, YouTube, website. And if you liked this podcast, please subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. We read all the reviews. If you're on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, shout us out on Instagram. We literally love all your comments on Instagram, so
we love it so much.
Yeah, we appreciate everything. But
and to any one of you that literally DMs me or Em and is like, "Oh my God, I love your podcast. I've been listening." Like, we appreciate it and squeal and geek out so much.
I know. It's my favorite thing. Or when people are like, "I heard this on the podcast and it was super interesting." I'm like, like that literally means the world to know you guys are actually listening. So
we did this for fun for us, like to talk once a week for an hour.
I was thinking that this morning. I'm like, podcast is literally just an excuse to drink coffee and chat with your bestie for an hour, but like I'm here for it.
Yeah, like we were hoping people would get value out of it, but we just started it because we're like, this is what we want to do. So we're extremely grateful that any of you listen and actually get value out of it.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, we will catch you in the next episode.